1, 2. The evolution will be colorized.
Marva King talks about the rare Prince track, The War.
プリンスが1998年にリリースした伝説的なシングル The War。 一般的な販売はされていないため、現在ではレアトラックとして有名です。今回はなんと当時のプリンスのバックバンド The New Power Generation のメンバーにして、スティービー・ワンダー、マイケル・ジャクソン、ジャネット・ジャクソンの全員と共演しているシンガーマーバ・キングに当時の制作秘話などを語っていただきます。この特別出演は死なない魂出版を記念して、著者である二重作拓也さんの友人であるマーバ・キングが協力してくれて実現しました。パーティーマインドチャンネルとのコラボレーション企画として発表させていただきます。今回は3つあるうちの第1弾になります。
1, 2. The evolution will be colorized. That's Prince, boy. One of the most prophetic songs that he ever did. He's always done controversial music, but I think this one here took it to a whole nother level. It was very prophetic. It was, revolutionary. Gil Scott-Heron said, 1, 2. The revolution will be televised. Yeah. Prince said, the evolution, which is dealing with life itself, will be colorized. And here we are at this time, 2025, watching everything come into play that he prophetically chanted about. One night, Paisley Park, I'll never forget Love for One Another sessions started at 1 a.m. and all these people came in, all the purple soldiers, as they typically do, and they watched Prince start this one song that they had no idea would go on for over 30 minutes. And we were just there, no verbally, melodic lyrics for me to sing. So all I could do was just play a little percussion, shake a little tambourine, do a little something while the band continued and just improvise according to the feel and the mode of where our leader, Mr. Prince Rogers Nelson, went with it. And man, it was hot. It was steam coming off the soldiers out there, but they didn't give up. They were just 1, 2. The evolution will be colorized. They continued doing it. And it just kept really pushing Prince more into speaking as he was there to do. I wonder sometimes, did he know how prophetic he was being? I know he was going with what his gut felt, all his studies, all his concerns about life, about humanity, about his race, about our country, all these things combined with one, I think just really propelled him one night to just say, let's go for it. And of course, he recorded it, he used it. And though it wasn't mostly a commercial song, actually it wasn't commercial at all. It was one of those songs that, it will have a following. There will be people listening in from times to come even, because we're talking now over 25 years ago. And here we are, 2025, and all these people are going, whoa, he was really saying something. He really saw something. So that was quite an experience. I kept wondering, when is it going to end? This is the longest song I've ever heard Prince do on stage, because he can get a groove, get a jam, and get going. And, the band just follow him. We all just follow him. That's just what we do, because he loved jamming. He loved music. He loved what he did. And, we were there because we were soldiers too. And then after we filmed that, of course, we were there till the wee hours. The sun was up when we were leaving. But he came to me maybe a couple days later, I'm not quite sure, but he had his photographer in the studio. They were doing some editing and everything. It was really late, and he was talking to me about different things because we would just hang out sometime and just talk and chat at Paisley. And he said, Marva, I want you to do a photo shoot. I said, this time of night? He said, yeah. He said, it needed to be this time of night. And I'm thinking, why? And he was so gracious, and he was so very professional about how he presented it. And he handled it, as my mom would say, with the kid-skin glove. He started talking to me very gently because he said, I got to say this right. Otherwise, I know Marva, she's probably going to say no. And I definitely exercised that option quite a bit of time, saying, no, I'm not going to do that, when most people didn't tell him no. So very gently, very kindly, sweetly, almost poetic, the way he was talking to me. And he told me about Mother Nature and how he saw me. And he said, I just get this vibe from you. And so we went on and segued into, and that's why I want you to do this photo shoot. And I wanted you to be alone. And I won't be in the room, but I need you to be Mother Nature. I said, okay, what does that mean? And you're not going to be in the room. He said, no. What a gentleman. He said, you and the photographer, you guys are going to be in here, and I need you to take your clothes off pretty much. You're going to have just like some little, maybe keep your underwear on. And it's going to be a little provocative, but it's a purpose. Provocative with a purpose. I'm like, oh God. So he said, Mother Nature is birthing Earth, and you are Mother Nature. So I put the visual in my head. I said, you can do this, Marva. And I did. I laid down, they set something up that was kind of like in a slope, and he left the room. And we began to do the photography. It was weird. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm going to a gynecologist. I had to open my legs. Oh my God, what an experience. And so I did, and he kept saying, come on, Marva. He was like, come on, you can do this. He said, just, this is going to be something of greatness, and, it's profound. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. So I did. I pretended, I visualized that the earth was coming out because I have birthed a child, and I had natural childbirth. So I made the face and everything, and just, kind of laid on my back and just pretended that earth was coming out of my womb. And that's how the cover of The War was created. So what an interesting union. And then you hear the music, you hear the chanting, you hear the profound lyrics that he created for it. And, and pairing that with the visual, seeing Earth, and then he put it like in 3D or 4D or something, which really made it really interesting. So it made me think of Star Wars and things of that sort. And I said, okay, once he photoshopped the earth in there, then I felt a little less self-conscious, I think, because I still was a little self-conscious. I just wanted to do something that I agreed to do. And I'm sure with him being brilliant and having such a genius mind, I said, I know he's going to turn this into something that is not going to make me feel humiliated or degraded in any kind of way. And like I said, Prince always handled everything with class with me. Even when he kind of flirted with me a little bit, everything has always been with class. So I never felt offended by him in any kind of way in that regard. We had other fights. We had some good old fights, but that definitely wasn't. It wasn't about his integrity or anything like that. He was such a classy man, and he was a manly man. So I appreciate him. He was better than many that I encountered in our industry. So still proud to say I'm a Purple Sister, and always will love him as he's always shown me and everybody that was close to him love, because he had love for one another for real. All right. Peace. Taki, thank you for doing this information and this documentary on him. Keep it going, brother. I love you. The concept that I think Prince was going for was so multifaceted. Of course, the evolution will be colorized. We are evolving as people. We're all blended family now. Continents are joining with continents, meaning we all are traveling, from one continent to the other and residing and sharing experiences, marrying, having children, and we're becoming more and more as one as we were in the beginning. And I think that was part of it, saying to the powers that be, you can do whatever, and people who are not so collaborative in terms of races and nationalities and things like that. I think his whole thing is the evolution will be colorized because, as we all know, a person of color that blends with another color, most likely that shade is going to get darker and browner. And I don't care if you're Asian, Latin, Indian, whatever, it doesn't matter. All of us that blend together, there's a hue of color. No matter how light-skinned a person is, you blend with the color, you're going to usually get some color. You're going to get some texture too of hair and things of that sort, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was the evolution will be colorized. That was part of that. It's saying to the powers that be, no matter what you do, and those who are, I call them narrow-minded, who think this should not be occurring. You can't tell somebody who to love, when to love, how to love. Bottom line is we are one under God's eyes. We are one. And that's what we're becoming. And that's God's plan. It's not our plan even. And no one can stop that. It's moving forward. So again, it didn't start with him, but it is continuing, even with the lyrics that he's putting in the war, or that he put into the war. That was one of the things. But he also have talked about many things. He's talking about spirituality, about, the false preachers and prophets who've misled the sheep, as the Bible speaks of, that Christ spoke of. He's talking about things like that. And he's saying, all of you are going to have your day, because we all have to answer for what we say, what we do, what we bring to this planet, what we share with other people, whether we stunt somebody's growth or provoke their growth or enhance their growth, I should say. So he was talking about that as well. But yeah, again, like I said, he was so prophetic. He was talking about, he just took his time. That's why it was over 30 minutes. He talked about every subject matter that applied to what he was thinking and how the future needs to move forward. And I'm sure that he probably was inspired, which was fine, by Gil Scott-Heron with The Revolution Will Be Televised. But like I said, he took it to the next step and said the evolution will be colorized. And that speaks for so many other areas. We're dealing with things like ISIS and all that with races. We're dealing with wars already. We've started. The Bible talked of wars, famine, rumors of wars. And there's wars that are going on that are painful in the Middle East and Ukraine and Russia. And there's wars, over in the Asian countries. So, and more. There's wars. There's many battles going on at this time. So we are into the future. And he knew that all of us would be affected by all of this. And we are living witnesses now of what has begun. And we don't know how far it's going to go, how long, but I think we are in the beginning of the end of times, meaning, not saying the earth is going to go away, but we're in the beginning of the times that were prophesied about thousands of years ago. And we're all here witnesses, and it's our responsibility to try to get through and help others get through as best we can. So, our unity, our love for one another, which is what he preached on, and yeah, he preached about it. We definitely have to apply this because that's what Christ said, love for one another. That's the greatest thing anybody could ever do. So that's my take on that. The process, I think we might have gone over some things in rehearsal that day because, he always would have us rehearse for umpteen hours. That's a Midwestern old school thing, umpteen hours. We were there many hours and, going over all of his music. But then, of course, he kind of casually brought in the war. And he expounded upon everything once we were at the Love for One Another session, which is a concert at night that he would have. And, we know that he's going to do what he's going to do. We didn't know how long it would last, but he played until he didn't want to play no more. He didn't want to play or say no more about that anyway. So that's it. So now we have this profound song that will play, I'm sure, far into the history of time because it applies to a lot of what is to come. And who knows, some decades from now, it may be something that happened in the past. And then they'll view him as, again, a musical prophet. So that's it. So I just want to say that. La-di-da. Peace.
いやー、すごかったですね。いろんな貴重な話がたくさん聞けました。まさか私の人生でマーバキングが喋る映像を編集することがあるとは思いもしませんでしたね。さて今回は死なない魂の出版記念ということでこの企画が実現しました。こちらの本は二重作拓也さん入魂の一冊でプリンスの哲学を40の観点から解き明かすという意欲作になっています。初心者でもとっつきやすくマニアもうなる情報や分析も散りばめられた領書になります。ぜひ手に取って読んでみてください。